All right, let's go ahead and get started with Pack 2 of the RoboCop build, which will include stages 3 through 6. But before we get started, this Pack 2, was the first one to come with one of the free gifts that come with this build. This one is a pack of 3 different posters. There are a few different free gifts you get along the build cycle. Of course, I'll show them all off as I get them, but this is the first one. It's kind of hard with the reflection. Maybe if I tilt it a bit. There's the first, oh, come on. First poster, which is kind of like the iconic film poster. This one, which looks like a still from the looks like the shootout at the gas station that happens, I believe. And then the third one is a still from the first night RoboCop is out on patrol. All very cool, very glossy. Hopefully I did not get my greasy fingerprints on them, but definitely be getting some frames and finding some place to mount them. But here we are. Pack 2, Stage 3. The magazine right here, as you can probably see if you're familiar with RoboCop, is starting the chest pieces. This is another one, much like the head. I think we don't really touch the chest for quite a while. So I think I am going to have to find some sort of safe storage box for these pieces. Because again, much like the helmet we did last time around, everything is very smooth and shiny and look very prone to scratches. But here's the magazine with Pack 3. I'm sorry, Stage 3. And again, the beginning is just a little bit more on the history and making of the movie. Then we will get into the actual assembly part, showing what we are working on. And in the end, going through the history of robotics, automatons, mechanomen, and then just general future tech articles. So, let's jump right in. And this whole Pack 2, is kind of going to highlight something that'll be popping up, or I should say might cause questions with the entire RoboCop build. Because there are some stages that are very, very, very short. So you may get a pack of 4 stages, and some of them may be something as simple as verifying you have a part. And I know some people online have kind of raised the question of, I paid for this, but I only got like one part in a pack. But it will also highlight in this pack, I think this is why it's a good one to highlight this, because it'll also show the other side of it, because there's one stage in this pack that is very, very, very involved. So it's kind of like a breakdown. Some of them will be quick and easy. Some of them will take a lot of time. That's a good question. The one thing the Enterprise did do with some of its metal parts is they did come in like individual small clamshell packages amidst the big bag. So you're probably right. We'll probably see some of that for these big, especially these metal pieces. Find a tool to kind of lift these out. Going to put in the chest armor insert part. I think, yeah, it looks like there's only one way it can go, because the holes in this and the lugs in this are angled. So we'll just maybe just slide it in. Yeah, there we go. Just need a little massaging. So we have that part in. And then for this, again, only one way can go because there's a screw hole for this one. Put that in. The BP screws, the only screws in this stage. And as always, if you're screwing into plastic, you just want to go hand tight so you don't strip the threads. And then this just fits. Did I skip a part? No, I did not. This goes in here, held in with 3 BP screws. So it was quite a bit more than a month ago that we did this last pack, and they are, I think I've said before, they are supposed to be once a month. There was kind of a, I hate to say overhaul, but it ties in with the Enterprise build. There was, Fanhome is a European company. And if you heard me speak before, you know that the Enterprise that I have going on, there is a pack that has been on a major delay, months long at this point. And I finally found out there was a shipping partner they used in the EU. Because, of course, it's a European-based company, so everything starts there before it makes its way to their U.S. side. And there was a shipping partner they used in the EU, some European logistics company. I didn't know the name because I don't think they operate outside of Europe. And I guess this company just really kind of dropped the ball towards the end of last year. Not just on Fanhome products, but just all their shipping entirely. And it just delayed everything for a lot of different companies, especially right before the holiday season. It was bad. And Fanhome had said, you know, look, hey, we're figuring it out. Just give us, we kind of have to like redo a lot of stuff. Just give us, you know, to the first of the year or after the first of the year, and everything should be sorted. And sure enough, the first week in January, I'm just going to put this side in now with 3 BP screws. First week in January, I got the email saying that, okay, your RoboCop build is back on track now, even though that one wasn't really, or it wasn't delayed before that. It was just kind of, you know, they delayed it while they got all their stuff in order. And I also can say at this point, the one missing pack I have for the Enterprise build is currently on its way. I'm hoping it's going to show up next week or maybe the week after, but they finally figured out what was going on. I don't know if that logistics company finally, you know, got all their ducks in a row, or if Fanhome switched companies. I don't know the details. All I know is the RoboCop is back on a regular schedule, and I will be able to finish the Enterprise hopefully between the end of January and the start of February. So I am excited about that. And so, here's what we end up with. These 2 parts. We don't attach them together yet, but it is the chest, the roboobs. Like I said, I don't think we use these for a while, so I am going to have to figure out some safe way to store them. I wonder if they'll fit back into that clamshell. I'll have to check once we're done here. Yeah, here's stage 4. And this is what I meant where there'll sometimes be packs where 1 or 2 stages will have very little to do. And let's be honest, despite how cool these look, there wasn't a lot to do with them. This, however, is RoboCop's right hand. And as you can probably tell by all the different finger joints and pieces, this one might take a minute. But first, we'll go through the magazine. Again, a little bit about the movie. Wouldn't mind seeing an Ed 209 model. Just going to throw that out there. And then here's what we're building. The right hand. Fully articulated, as you can see. Well, and you will see, because I am going to be building it. Again, more robotics history, more future tech. And yeah, fun stuff all around. And this pack, or this stage in this pack, they did include another screwdriver. If you were here for the last pack in stage 1, they included a screwdriver because with all these builds, they include any necessary tools to build it. You know, obviously there are some other beneficial tools you can buy, like a screwdriver or a pair of precision pliers or a sprue cutter, but everything that is required to build it will be included. And the screwdriver that came in pack 1, I'm using my own just because it's feels a little bit better in my hand. But this one, I get this open here. I probably should have muted for that, but whatever. This screwdriver, as you can see, is quite the precision head screwdriver. And although I do have a set of precision screwdrivers somewhere around here, I might as well use this one since it's right here at hand. So now each of these pieces are numbered based on which finger they are. So we're starting with the thumb. And now I don't know I think all these joints might be universal. They are not. So these must be numbered somewhere. Oh no, it just looks like the thumb one is bigger than the others. Okay. The fingers just snap together, the two halves, but then they screw into, make sure I have this around the right way. So the spring goes inside. Okay. My big stupid hands are making this harder than it needs to be. Big meaty claws. One thing I don't know, I think the spring just gets compressed in there. So it's not actually fitting in the hole, so what I can do is just feed it over the screw. There we go. Okay. Don't know how tight these are supposed to be. Just says tighten the screw down. I think I might wait till there's like a little bit of resistance there. And I think I might leave it at that until you do at some point get the gun, the AC-9, and you assemble that. So I think once that's arrived, we'll see if it needs more tension to be able to grip that. But as it stands, that's the thumb. 1 down, 4 to go. Whew, there we go. Now we need this part. This, oh, wrong way. Do I have the wrong part? I do. So these will go on, and this will be where it'll fit into the wrist in there. Yeah, just get it in nice and tight with the BM. So, thumb. Index. Middle. Yeah, it looks like a hand. I've seen 1 or 2 in my day. And this, since the back of this hand is what's going to keep the fingers from kind of being a little loose, these I definitely want to put in as much torque as possible. So we'll start that screw. Get the second one in. And then just crank this baby. Yeah, it's nice and tight. You can still rotate the fingers in those sockets, but it is stiff, which is what you want it to be. Especially since, like I said, you know, this hand is going to be able to hold the AC9 when we assemble that. Actually, maybe that's a little too tight. The thumb is kind of at a weird askew angle. We'll tighten it down because you can always untighten it. As I was saying when I said I was getting ahead of myself, this part just snaps him back with a magnet, which makes me think that that data spike piece I was talking about is just a different magnet attachment. But there we go. Looking good. I had to. Don't blame me. I'm a victim. Victim of circumstances. But yeah, there's a hand. I'm glad we're only doing 1 more of those. But here's magazine 5, or the magazine for stage 5. More about RoboCop. Again, the more I see pictures of this, the more it makes me want an Ed 209 build. But we still got plenty to go with this. So after that very involved hand piece, this is one of the simple stages. Yeah, looks like just 1 screw, putting some pieces together, and then 1 piece that looks like it's saved for a later stage. Kind of right here, it shows you a cross-section of what we're going to do in this stage when completed. Again, More automatons. Modern technology, and then it looks like this last page is usually saved for future technology, but we'll see. This part, which is metal, we're not using in this stage. Let me see what they call it in the magazine. Right upper arm outer plate. So it looks like kind of a, maybe a part of armor just right above, yeah, I can't see my arm, but right above the elbow joint. But we're not using it. It's just included in here for future use. But these are the elbow joints, or part of the elbow joint for the right arm. And with these builds, you know, I talked about it a bit earlier, but the build itself, it has to be, or I shouldn't say it has to be, it is only so many pieces big, and they have to figure the cost for production, what it takes to make it, manufacture it, then of course how much they're going to sell it for, and then they break it down by how many stages in each pack, how many parts in each. So there are some where we're going to have a pack that's like this, where it's just as simple as putting these two pieces together and throwing a screw in there. And it's kind of, I'm taking more time to describe it than it takes to actually build it. But that's offset by pieces like the hand. Or if you're watching for stage 1, I think it was pack 2, the foot. That was a little bit more involved as well. But yeah, that's going to be like that for stage 5. That takes us right on to stage 6. More about the movie. I'm assuming as they go on, this first part, which talks about the history of the RoboCop intellectual property, they'll probably move on to RoboCop 2, RoboCop 3, and maybe the short-lived RoboCop TV show. I don't know. I think that one might be best left forgotten. Yeah, naturally, next hand will be faster, right? Right? And this is just more of the elbow joint, and oh, you know, we actually combined it with that last stage. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and even this part. So, you know, I should probably start looking at these magazines before I start blabbing. But I'm probably not going to do that. Why should I learn from my mistakes? Well, cool. A little video game history. These are, I think, are these vector graphics? Is that what those were? I mean, even like, yeah, 3 was the jetpack one. I'm not even like the biggest fan of RoboCop 2. I know some people in the RoboCop community might take issue with that, but I think RoboCop 2, because it didn't have Paul Verhoeven, they kind of missed out on some of the satire, and some of it just was plain silly. RoboCop 3, I cannot remember if it had a theatrical run, because they did not have Peter Weller back as Murphy, and the whole movie was a setup for the TV show. From what I remember, I was very young at the time. So I think it might have been a made-for-TV movie or like a direct-to-video that was just kind of meant to set up the show, because the actor they had playing RoboCop in RoboCop 3 was the one who played it in the show. And the show, I think from my understanding, was, I don't even know if it finished its first season. It was not very well received. For pretty good reasons, let's be honest. And actually, you know, something I completely forgot about. I forgot that they remade RoboCop a few years ago. Um, that was well advised. I don't know if they're going to be they're covering that in these magazines as well. Oh wow, Rip Torn was like I said, it has been a while. I was, I don't want to come off as snarky. There's enough of that on the internet. Um, but I remember the RoboCop remake. I wasn't entirely against it out of the gate. I thought I would give it the benefit of the doubt, but then I saw the trailer, and they showed. I am completely blanking on the actor's name. He played Takeshi Kovacs in season 1 of Altered Carbon. He's the one playing Murphy in the remake. And they show a scene of him as RoboCop. And the RoboCop armor is the same kind of like silver blued look that they have in the original movie. And I thought to myself, like, okay, maybe they're gonna like pay actual homage to the original RoboCop. And then someone in the trailer is like, ditch those colors, make it all black. And the next scene, you see him dressed as RoboCop in just like this flat black armor that has just really no discernible look to it. It just looked like black armor. And I saw that and I was like, okay, I take it back. They obviously don't really care about the legacy. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Again, don't want to be just another a-hole on the internet, assuming everything's bad. So this was the joint we created in the last stage. I'll be fitting that in here. Putting all this together. Or just let it fall apart. Try that again. Those clicks, by the way, are normal. I don't think I gave a clear look, but there are 2 toothed gears that fit together to make this joint tight. Just going to make sure everything is fitted together here. Like all of these joints in this model, since since once you have it all completed, and this is just an elbow joint, you have the forearm and the upper arm, you can have a lot of torque on it. So you definitely want these joints tight at this point, because if it's tough to move now, that means it's going to be easier to move once everything's fitted together. Okay, so this sleeve is kind of the rubber part of the suit that covers the elbow. And then this was the piece from the last stage that I mistakenly said we probably won't use for a while, and here we are. And this attaches, there are 2 lugs here and here, which fit in here and here. It's going into metals. Want to get it nice, tight. Also, again, because it's the elbow joint. And that's how it looks. There's the inside of the joint, which is what the form is going to attach to. And then this will go up into the shoulder. Well, the joint moves. We saw it earlier. But with that, it's the end of stage 6, and that's the end of pack 2. And what we have at the end here, this is, despite what I incorrectly said with some of these pieces, everything we have here was fit together. There's no extra pieces. Some of these parts we might not use until later stages, but everything was utilized. These ones I know for a fact we will not be seeing for a while. So I have to find someplace safe to store those along with the helmet we completed in the first stage. I think going forward, what's going to happen is we're going to start building up from this right foot into the right leg, as well as building off of this part into the right arm. If I remember correct, I think we do the leg and the arm kind of simultaneously. But these 3 pieces, the 2 chest pieces and the head, I definitely know we don't see for a while. So I'll have to find someplace safe to store those, because they are just so prone to scratches. You can just tell by looking at it. I should say, I don't know if I was calling out through this build. I probably should get better with that, but this part out here is metal. With the chest piece, these base parts are metal, but the actual pecs are plastic. And with the hand, the entire hand part, the palm and the back of the hand, these are metal. The fingers are plastic, and this back part that attaches with a magnet is also plastic. So it is a mix of metal and plastic throughout this whole build. But I think a lot of the external portions of the armor will be mostly metal. Again, there's still some plastic, but I mean, even the plastic parts look good. I'm guessing if I hadn't pointed it out, it would have been hard to tell, because it has a really good paint job. I wish we got to attach these together. Although, maybe they don't attach together. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But all I will say is that is it for this build. Pack 2 of RoboCop.